Hey guys, welcome back to Air Power. Before we get into today's video, I want to go over this. This is on a katana. This is the Cloud Hammer, the 51 CRB 4 steel. This was the first generation katana that they come out with, the first batches they made, and they had little fit and finish issues on them, which are now corrected with the newer ones they have in stock. I just want to go over the sword. This is after the cutting, and I brought the blade in. I didn't record this part, but I disassembled the blade. I ran the blade over the sharpening stone and over some 1000 grit. This is automotive sandpaper, 1000 grit. I wet it and run the blade over that to get the sharpness back on it, which it still seemed like it was pretty sharp, but you'll see in the video the edge took a slight bit of damage when I smashed it into a steel aerosol can, which was empty. I shot the steel aerosol can in a previous video. Then I run the blade over some 500 grit polish paper. I did run it over 1000 grit stone a few times before I did the paper. But anyway, we're going to start with the suka. I've disassembled this katana, and there's no cracks in the suka. The Sawagama panels are not full wrap, which I wouldn't expect them to be. The Ito on here is still really tight. You could barely even get it to move just a tad bit, but they will move over the manuki. They will move just slightly, but this leather wrap they got on here is really tight. I don't know how long it'll hold up or degrade or start to wear like leather jackets will do, or how long you really actually want to use this with sweat from your hands. But anyway, it's a really nice wrap. I really love this leather they got on here. It's nice and tight. The Kastra has a little bit of wiggle in it. It's done got used for me using it. Of course, I have a little bit of abusive testing. I don't know if you want to call it extreme abuse testing, whatever you want to call. But the Kastra here has a little wiggle to it. And if you watched other videos, it has a slight ledge on it. It doesn't bite into my hands. My hands are really rough, so it doesn't bother me. And it has one makugi peg. That's all that holds this in. One makugi peg. I do not see a taper on that peg. It is a wooden makugi. My other Cloud Hammer has some kind of synthetic poly type plastic peg in it, which probably hold up a lot better and longer than this, but it come out no damage to it. But the sword actually took a rubber mallet and a wooden square piece of wood I got to tap all these off, because it was put together pretty tightly. But anyway, there's the suka. And we have the Fuji and one of the Seppas. The Seppa's copper looking. I think that might actually be a copper, which I like. The Fuji here has the basket weave, same thing as the Kastra, that basket weave. And then you have this Suba. Now, with all those little cuttings in there, and I don't know how thick to tell you that actually is, maybe 1/8 of an inch thick, and all them cuttings in there, sometimes these little cuttings, these little things will poke up or out one way or another. They're really easy to bend, and I can bend them right now with my hand. But like I said, my hands are really rough. I don't really notice myself riding up on the tsuba when I hold the katana. So I really don't, I can feel it kind of ripping onto my skin. A lot of use, all day use, may actually get a raw spot or something. But I really don't like these tsubas with all these fancy cuttings in them. But anyway, then we have the other Seppo, of course. Now we're going to get to the blade. Like I said, this is after I brought the blade in, run it over some stones, and actually polished it up with some Mother's mag wheel polish. You'll see in the video, I haven't watched the video yet, so I don't know how good the edge shows after I smacked the can or the wood pieces, but the edge took a kind of a little bit of a, I don't know how you want to call it, edge deflects, a very tiny bit of damage on the edge from hitting that can. But here's the sword's still straight as it can be. I mean, it's just not, it didn't take a set. Of course, I didn't beat the side of it on anything. Pretty sure it will withstand it. But, I mean, there's no serious damage to the edge. It wasn't serious. I have, like I said, I run it over the stone. So, this is a slow process sliding this blade up through the camera there. There's the edge for you. And it has some scuffing on it even after I polished it, but the scuffing was worse. So yeah. And the other side, in case you just want to see it, like I said, it has some scuffing on it. It was worse, but polishing them out come out fairly well. But anytime you do some kind of abusive testing like I did today, you're going to get the scuffing, and you putting a blade, a metal object against a metal object. They're going to take some sort of damage. So, and then we have the tang here. Like I said, it's one Makugi peg. It's not the greatest tang in the world, but all in all, it's pretty nice. I like seeing here, I don't remember what these two notches are called. They're even from each other and not offset. But there you go. Alright guys, let's get on to the video. Hope you enjoy it. A little bit of cutting. I'm out here. I want to test the Cloud Hammer 51 CRV4 steel. This is going to be somewhat of some abusive testing. I don't know how traumatic or how abusive you would say this is. I would say it's pretty abusive here. We're gonna cut into, I have this is a 1x oak, two of them that are, I've glued them together. I was doing a project and this didn't work out so well. But I'm gonna cut into this first and see how the edge holds up on this 51 CRV steel. Then we're going to cut into a water jug. I have some water jugs here. Well, they're milk jugs. They're filled with food coloring and water. To see if the edge held up enough to cut into a jug after cutting it into this oak wood. That's some really hard oak. Really hard oak. I'd say it cut about 1/4 of an inch into it. And that time, cutting with the grain, cut it in half. which is to be expected. There's no edge damage. Unfortunately, you have some scuffing. I don't know how well the lighting is here. There's no edge damage on it. There's the scuff mark. No damage to the edge. Still no edge damage. Okay, let's see if any of the edge diminished. Still pretty straight. It is still really sharp. Okay, now I'm going to do something that has damaged the 1060 blade I had. This is a metal can I've shot. I'm hoping it does not damage the edge, but we're going to do it. Okay, after striking a metal can, you would expect very, very, very minor, I don't know how well you can see that on camera, very minor edge deflection, very minor. And just smashed into the can, did not cut it as I expected. Did it hold a sharpness still in this area? Yeah, it's still pretty sharp. So that minor edge deflection may be a little dull in that spot there. Right there's your edge deflection from cutting into a metal can. You would expect to see that, but it's still kind of sharp. Still very sharp. Okay, well there you go. Now I'm going to file this minor, well not file, I'm going to lightly sand out this minor imperfection, and pretty tough sword. Alright guys, the power is out.